Hello there, and welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast for two grown adults with no free time to talk about their favorite RPGs. I'm DJ.
And I am Sam, and we're besties that love to game. Today, we will be discussing some superlatives about JRPGs, or kind of categories, and we fit in which game is our favorite in each said category. Maybe you've seen this floating around online. It's kind of a grid that will show, favorite overall RPG, best story, best protagonist, best whatever, and you kind of put each category with which one fills that little niche.
Yeah, think of it like a yearbook for JRPGs. And so it's like most popular, prettiest, most likely to get a sequel, so things like that. Actually, that would have been a really good one. That wasn't one, a superlative.
That was my high school superlative.
Yeah, most likely to get a sequel. Well, we're still waiting on that. Hey, really quickly, before we get to what we're just talking about today, if you are not following us yet on the socials, what are you even doing? Go follow us on Instagram and YouTube and Reddit, all at Turn-Based Besties, and subscribe to the pod, man, wherever you get your pods, so you know when we're gonna go, give you an episode, which is usually twice a month, right?
Absolutely.
Did I miss any place? I don't think so.
Tink Tonk.
Tink Tonk. We're on Tink Tonk too. Yeah, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, TikTok, or Tink Tonk if you're like us. All at Turn-Based Besties. Just do yourself a favor. Go follow us.
That's right. Well, good. Yeah. It's always good to follow us, and it's always good to be us, right? Is that too pompous?
Is it good to? I mean, I guess it's. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad we're us. I guess. Yeah, that works.
Well, I try to be positive, because the kiddos always will be able to bring you down. We'll be able to humble you right quick.
Uh-oh.
So So the other night I was doing the kids' bath, and was asking, and this is kind of like a callback to the Daddy Tell Me Everything About. And the question was, what is the Milky Way?
Oh.
And so I love space. I love teaching about those things. So I was all excited. Yeah. So I start jumping into talking about, our sun, and then our solar system, but other stars, and then galaxies, and then, clusters of galaxies, and then universe and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. N seems to be listening well, but then J just turns around, cuts me off in the middle of my spiel, and goes, blah, 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 Daddy, let us play in the bath.
Wow. Okay, Jay. So
Jay will not be... Well, he was all excited about the astronauts, and then all of a sudden, you want to talk about the Milky Way, and he just smacks you down.
Well, it's because he's 4.
That might be it. Is that it? Is that what it is?
I don't have kids, but I have seen a child before. So
you got me there. The other, so this one was a very personal body Daddy Tell Me Everything About pretty much situation with N. She asked also, it might have been the same night. This might have been a very eventful bath time now that I think about it.
Can't wait.
She was, it's bath time. She's wondering, she's asking questions, and she was asking about biology and different anatomical holes. So there were discussions that had to happen, but the funny comment actually, this wasn't in bath because Tay explained it to her. But anyway, it was, they were just watching some show in the morning, and then complete tangent, in ask this question. So it's off the wall.
Okay.
Not expecting it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And Tay gives a response to what everything's for, and in exclaims, "Oh, well, that probably would hurt when a baby comes out because that is not very big."
Well, she would not be wrong.
Not wrong, and actually quite right.
I mean, neither of us will experience that, but I do assume that it's not a walk in the park.
No, I won't experience it. I have been there secondhand each time, and it appears very painful.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably. Wow, also your daughter, if she ever listens to the podcast when she's older, will actually murder you for telling that story on the podcast. But
Eh,
sorry about that,
it's
and
okay.
not gonna edit it out.
Nobody will ever know. We don't say their full names, so nobody will ever know who they are.
No, yeah, certainly not. Uh, uh.
Anyway, what's going on with you?
Well, hey, I just got back from seeing you not too long
Did
ago
ya?
in person.
Did ya?
Yeah, we sure did. I got to spend just like 24 hours, with you and your lovely family for putting me up. I had a singing gig in Kansas, in Lawrence, Kansas. And you were so kind to come pick me up from that
I know I had to
gig
go to
like you normally
Lawrence.
do. Like this is the third time that you've driven a long time. Sorry, my mic just did something funky. That you've
It's
driven
okay.
like 2 or 3 hours, met me and my mother, who also drives a long time to come see me in a Midwest gig. We share a beer between the three of us, and then you drive me back so I can go to the airport within the next day or two.
It's a cute little thing we've got going on. However,
Yeah.
you were nice this time. This was way closer. This was like 45 minutes for me. It was much further for Joyce.
Much further from my mom. She's a trooper. She drove like 4.5 hours for this gig.
Yeah, it must have been
Yeah, no.
across the whole state and then some.
And then into Kansas. I know.
Yeah.
So she's a trooper. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just more singing and traveling. And it is about to cool off here in about 6 more weeks. It'll cool off, and I will stop traveling as much.
Yeah, you've been busy. You've
I
been super busy.
I have
Stop
been
being so
busy.
good at music.
I think that every day is like I'm not very good at music, so I'm
Do you
already
need
halfway
a
there.
Do you need a 4-year-old to humble you about your musical chops?
I don't, because I have a mirror. I I will humble myself every single day. I was walking for our dog like an hour ago, and I had a former student of mine who's now a colleague. Like she's 30, like a former like a actual colleague of mine now.
Yeah.
And she sent me a text. She's like, "Hey, can you look at my CV?" And I said, "Yeah, totally." I was like, "If you need an example, like I'm happy to send mine." And as I was sending it, I was like, "Well, I haven't updated this one for, oh my God, since July 2025? Well, that's a long time for me to not have updated a CV, because I usually just
Yeah.
always have it up on my desktop, like ready to go at any given second."
Oh
Because
wow!
I'm
So every time you get a new gig, every time you do a new thing, you just add on to it.
every single time I have my resume
That's
and
so
my
smart.
CV always ready to go, but I just sent it from my website, which I've just not uploaded the new one from my website in about a year. And then I also noticed spelling errors on it as well, and I was like, "Oh my God." I sent this and I was telling her like in real time, I was like, "Well, I'm really embarrassed I sent this to you. Wasn't expecting to humble myself on a lovely Thursday afternoon, but here we are." So, yeah, I don't need a 4-year-old. I'm going to do it myself.
There you go.
Yeah. But enough about me, Sam. Remind the people, what are we talking about today?
So yeah, we're gonna go over these kind of different categories and chat about which JRPG specifically fills each one of those niches. And we'll just kind of hit really quickly on them. We got to go a little bit rapid fire here because there are 20 different categories.
20
Some quick math
categories.
there.
So
All right.
we'll bounce back and forth. You go, I go, you go, I go, blah 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 blah.
Yep, let's do it. Category number one is we're starting off just in general, big one.
Yeah.
Favorite JRPG. What is your favorite JRPG, DJ?
My favorite JRPG is Star Ocean, the second story R. I'm putting the remake there because I think the remake trumps the original Star Ocean 2, which is also an excellent game.
I've only played the remake, but I agree. Remake is awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Great characters, great music, great combat. I'll probably get a tattoo of one of the characters one day. It's great.
Oh, there you go. Love that. And for me, listeners of the show would probably know it is Octopath Traveler 2. It's the HD 2D kind of perfected the look, the job systems and classes, and each of the storylines, and it being kind of like bite-sized that you can sit down and play a chapter at a time. And the turn-based combat is just chef's kiss, refined to perfection. I love it. And I actually had a really hard time not just plugging it in as the answer to like every other category on this list.
Well, I'm proud of
So
you.
I didn't though. I tried to space it out. But all right, next category, best story. You want me to go? I'll go
Yeah,
first.
you go. Category is best story.
For me, I went with Near Automata. So the reason I did
Ooh.
that is because I love sci-fi stories.
Yeah.
I love dystopian stories,
Mm-hmm.
but I also just really like the way it was delivered. It was in a way that you follow the protagonist, but kind of spoilers, you can jump into the role of other characters and play them. And then also, once you finish, you replay it multiple times to get various different endings, which really feels sci-fi to me. And I love that. I
Ooh.
love seeing different ways, like how would it end? How do you progress the ending? What is the end? And it gets very meta. So I love that.
Ooh, fun.
I know. What was your best story?
My best story is Persona 5 Royale. And I played that. It was my first Persona. I played it in 2020, spring of 2020, right when the pandemic happened. So I'm sure that left some sort of impression on me as well for a story. But I just felt like by the end of the story, I was hanging out with friends. Like I was sad to put that game away, But it was also so long that I don't know if I could really truly ever play it again because it was just it I sunk like 160 hours I think into it just for
Oh
like
my
the
goodness.
game. Yeah, just a long time, but it was just such a captivating story for me. I know other folks who are the Persona heads like the story of 4 a little bit better, and like 4 is excellent too. And I think when the remake comes out, I'll probably agree. But right now, Persona 5 Royal takes best story for me.
Love it. Yeah, and you kind of literally get in the heads of characters, right? You go into the like
You do?
dungeons, which are like in the heads,
Yeah,
which
you've
is
not
cool.
really spent much time with that one, have you?
I think I played it for 20 hours, which feels should be a chunk of a game, but that's
Right.
like nothing. That was like the intro pretty much.
Pretty much. I know, which is
Yeah.
annoying. I realize that.
Which is annoying.
Yeah. So,
But I will jump forward to the next category. Unfortunately, we could talk about Persona 5 all day probably.
I
But
know.
next category, favorite art style. You go first here, DJ. What is your favorite art style JRPG?
Favorite art style. Let's live alive or live alive, however you want to say it. That HD 2D man, like I know you and I have said it before in the pod, like pump it into my veins. Like I can take it.
I could have every game in that. I'm not sick of it. And
Yeah.
and I quite honestly, I would probably say that's my favorite, but it feels a little diluted or it feels like a cop out because there's so many of them, like
Yeah, that's
Octopath
fair.
and Triangle Strategy
Yeah.
and Live Alive and all of those that do it.
Yeah.
The new remakes of Dragon Quest games, I think a little
The,
bit did it. And
the
so
Star Ocean 2 did the HD 2D. Yeah. I
a
mean,
little bit, yeah. Anyway, I love it. It is my favorite too, but I tried to do something different, so I didn't just put Octopath Traveler 2 for everything. So I
yeah.
went with Unicorn Overlord.
Very pretty.
So, very pretty. It's this vanillaware art style that's hand drawn with great lighting effects. It's a lot of 2D, but still has this depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was exceptionally well done. So Unicorn Overlord, beautiful game, amazing different combat styles. Check that one out.
Really, really pretty. Now, yeah, Vanillaware puts out some pretty games
Yeah. So
for
all right,
sure.
next one,
The
best
next
or
one, yes,
biggest. Sorry.
category is
Oh,
biggest
you do
personal
it. You do it. You do it.
impact.
You do it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Biggest personal impact for me. It's Lunar Silver Star Story. It was a toss up between that and the first Star Ocean 2 because both of those were, to my memory, the first two like JRPGs that I sat down and played from start to finish and then played again from start to finish multiple times. Again,
Oh,
like, and I know I joke that I'll probably get a tattoo of like Star Ocean, and I might, but like literally, I have the Null pixel version ready to get tattooed on my arm. Like that
oh.
one's like actually ready to go. So, like, huge impact. Lunar. Even my husband has played Lunar a number of times.
And I played the first one.
And you
You
did
need to
play
play
it.
the second one.
Yeah.
So
Oh man, the second one's so good.
I I feel like that and Suikoden, like the second ones are supposed to be better, and so I really need to
Oh
find the
yeah.
time, and I
Same.
will. So for me though, biggest personal impact, I went with Expedition 33
Oh
for this one,
yeah.
Clair Obscur. So I'm probably a little bit of a prisoner of the moment since that's such a current one, but man, did this one with the story hit like a ton of bricks. It is so heartfelt and meaningful, and like you said with Persona 5 Royal, I felt like I knew these characters and was
Mm-hmm.
living with them, and so certain parts were gut-wrenching and certain parts were heartwarming, and so just a very emotional, but the emotion is on top of just a skillfully made game with amazing systems and amazing music, and so it really gets to you and digs its hooks in there and
Oh heck yeah.
gets to your soul.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I would have guessed that one for you for sure.
you got me on that one. Yeah.
I gotcha.
So
I gotcha.
next category is best combat. What did you put for the best fighter combat pew pew punch punch game?
Wow, that's the one. So many games could have gone into this category, and I tried to pick a different game for every category if I could. I didn't succeed in that always. So for this one, Trails in the Sky first chapter, because I love that it's turn-based, but I also like that it's real-time until you choose to make it turn-based. Like you kind of get the best of both worlds.
I love the positioning in that game. Like so many
Yeah.
times positioning is kind of important, but not that important. But it's really important in that game.
Yeah,
And
it's almost makes it feel like it's grid-based sometimes, but it's not. But it's
but it's
not
not.
tactical, but it kind of is too. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
thought the battle system is pretty freaking solid.
Yeah. I for best combat, I do like some of those ones that change it up, but for me I was thinking what's the best just turn-based, combat system. And the one that I thought iterated it the best was Bravely Default 2. So Octopath Traveler 2 is very similar to this, but I think the first one that did it with kind of the Brave and Default systems that lets you act a lot all at once, like, but you're taking the risk that you're going to be defenseless for a few turns, but also the way you have multiple job classes that you can mix together and create these characters that can really hit like powerhouses. And then my nerdy side really liked that it's very specific on how the buffs are. It'll be like this one increases by 1.5 times, and then if you use it a few times, that multiplies and that scales. So they're not just hiding behind like, okay, you'll get a boosted effect or some like nebulous word.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you the numbers, which I kind of liked.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
played that one.
Yeah. So, I would play for you Bravely Default 2 maybe over one Flying
Okay.
Fairy that just came out.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's more polished personally and a better game. But
Oh, okay, cool.
anyway,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Overhated game. Now we start to get into some controversial picks. Sam,
this is fun now. This is fun.
I know. What's your overhated game? Which one do you think is overhated?
I said Fire Emblem Engage. So a lot of people hated on this. I think where it came from is that everybody dug Three Houses because it had such a good story.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Engage really made the combat system the forefront. And so the tactical gameplay is spot on, is perfection. And that's why I liked it so much.
Okay.
And yes, it doesn't have as good of a story. You don't have the cool school hub world, and and you don't get to know the characters quite as well. And I think that's why it got a big knock. But I think as a JRPG, especially as a tactical or strategy RPG, I thought it was awesome.
Nifty.
Yeah.
My overhated game, I'm not going to win people over with this one, and it's fine. I think Star Ocean, Faithlessness, and Integrity is overhated. It's a bite-sized game. They clearly lost funding. It's like a 25-hour JRPG, which is just not very long.
That sounds great, though.
I mean, for
okay
me,
with
when
that.
I was already playing it as an adult, so I was like, this is great. It's not wasting my time. It's Star Ocean. It's sci-fi. You fight with all 7 party members at the same time. Love a big party, right?
Yeah, that's great. What number is that one?
It's technically number 5, I believe.
Put you on the spot. 5. Okay.
I think it's number 5.
I really dislike that critique personally when people are like, it's not enough content. If they told the story they were trying to tell,
I think
and
they
you
did.
got
Yeah.
and it was fun and the combat was fun, then great. If you really liked it that much, play it a second time on a harder difficulty. Is my take.
Exactly. And no one complains about the combat of this one. They all say that's like the shining moment. A lot of people just came off the previous Star Ocean where you got to travel to so many different planets, and this one is basically you're on one planet until like near the end. And the most popular Star Ocean game is number 2 where you're just on 2 planets. So I don't know. I think the Star Ocean games are pretty popular for being on backwoods medieval planets, but being like, we're sci-fi, and no one's really complained about it until Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
like the whole thing. But
I
okay, whatever.
know people were just upset about it. They're legit complaints if you were expecting a huge space odyssey, space opera for sure. But I like a bite-sized JRPG every once in a while. So there you go.
Love it, love it. Okay, next one is underrated. So we went from overhated to underrated. I
Yeah.
went with Live Alive here. I went with Live Alive. So if you listen to this pod, that's probably not one you would put as underrated because we talk about it all the time. It's
Yeah.
on the top lists for us. But I don't think when you hear people talk about favorite JRPG lists and top JRPGs, I don't think it gets a whole lot of love. And especially the remake, I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I would say probably the same thing for my underrated. Mine is Phantasy Star 4. And, if you are really old, sorry not to like be mean, I'm old too, so are you, Sam. But like, if you're a gamer that's in your 40s that has been playing like JRPGs, for 30 plus years, you've probably heard of the Fantasy Star games. You've probably played them. But I feel like for those folks who maybe like you, Sam, right? Who maybe if we didn't start this pod, you would not have played Fantasy Star 4,
I don't think I would have. Yeah.
right? And I know, you had some legit grievances with it because it's an old game and it has some of that baggage from old games that even you in recent months you've been like, well, it did X, Y, and Z pretty well, and it was kind of ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Yeah, agreed. You might hear
So
about some more of that coming up.
underrated, we sure will. Now to get super hated. What's your most overrated game? Oh, I agree with you on this one.
We just played this rather recently. I went with Paper Mario in the Thousand Year Door. I'm sorry, I beat the whole thing.
Sorry, Pepper.
I liked it. Yeah, sorry to everybody out there.
Uh,
But the reason I think it was good, I think it was cute. It's on people's like top 5 or top 10 lists for JRPGs. That's why it's overrated. I could never put it there for myself, mostly
no.
because it's just not. There's not enough meat there for me with the systems and everything else. For an intro level JRPG to somebody just getting used to things that's maybe a Mario fan, top tier, sure, it's great
Sure,
for them,
yeah.
but not for us JRPG junkies.
Yeah, no, it made me want to throw myself out a window. It was not my favorite game, but it's
Well,
fine.
what'd you go with? Let's speaking, and you might get thrown out of a window for this one.
I know. I do like this game a lot. I have to preface it with that. I do, and I didn't play this game until like 2013, so I don't have nostalgia factor. It's Final Fantasy VII. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like purposefully be controversial. It's clearly a great game. The music is fantastic. I do not think it's aged well, and I think it's a really great game, but I don't think it's the best game that's ever been created.
This category is where we'll get people commenting if they do saying this is just all rage bait. This is just rage bait. There's no way they think that.
No, I really do think that, but I also don't hate it. Like I can think it's overrated and also really enjoy it. Like those thoughts can both exist at the same time.
Exactly. That's kind of the same for me with Paper Mario, but it's
Oh,
just
not
not
with
top
me, not
five
with
or
that
top
game.
two.
No, I did not like that game. No, that game sucks.
I still liked it. Okay, needs a remake. What needs a remake? So this is a callback already to what you just said. I went with Fantasy Star 4. Okay, yes, I had a lot of grievances, but it was mostly because it was quality of life stuff. I wanted a better map to know where I was going. I wanted a quest system. I wanted to know. I wanted things to feel better and be more streamlined. And but the world, the sci-fi aspects, the battle system was actually pretty in depth. The way you could get
Hmm.
special moves if you used the right sequence of attacks together. Like
Hmm.
I never even got to dig into that because I didn't need to. But I think a remake could really do a lot for this game.
I agree. I would totally play a remake of that.
Yeah.
I think the game that needs to be remade, and it never will because I don't think they have like all the code for it to do it. Dragon Age Origins. I mean, it's an amazing game as it is right now, but I would just love to see it remade and brought to modern console. Honestly, I would make a concession here and say don't even remake it, just port it. Just give me a port to the PlayStation 5 or to whatever the new Xbox is called. Even to Switch 2, just port that motherfucker. Like bring it on. It's such a good game.
I I hear you. That's yeah.
That's a game that I want you to experience so badly because I think you would love it.
Call me when they got that remake. I'm on it.
I will.
So next category, criminally overlooked. Okay, so what's overlooked? What's not given enough kudos? I went with your favo. I went with Star Ocean Second Story R, the remake that we played together for the first episode of Turn-Based Besties, right?
It was.
So
We should revisit that at some point.
we should. So I said this because I mean it's such a good game. It's the remake is beautiful for one. It looks great. The combat is actually really fun and snappy. But I think one of the cooler aspects is you can upgrade so many things and kind of outside of combat upgrading your abilities that then leads to your ability to traverse better or make better items or do like that. The fact that the skills you're upgrading and learning relate to items and abilities and how you traverse and everything else so seamlessly, I don't know that I've seen a modern game do it that well.
Yep, it's really an incredible game.
Yeah.
And
so,
you know what? In the JRPG niche, it's not overlooked, but to the video game world, it's absolutely overlooked.
maybe that's yeah. I
Yeah,
know it's seen as the best one with Star Ocean, but I
sure.
also feel like Star Ocean is not a forefront JRPG,
Totally.
franchise, and so then it feels a little bit buried
Every
compared to the
Star
other
Ocean
ones.
game feels like the last one because us like diehard Star Ocean fans are like, all right, so which 1% of the population is going to play this game now?
Yeah, you hold your breath for the sales numbers and wonder if it's the final death knell.
Jesus, every time I know.
But what'd you go with for criminally overlooked?
I went with Ickenfell. It's such
Oh yeah,
a joyful little. You played it all, right?
I played it, not all of it, but I played a lot of it.
It's such a joyful little grid-based game, and it's. I mean, it looks like it's made for almost like Nintendo or Super Nintendo. But there's a lovely sized party. It's has the time pressed mechanic that if you're like me and you're bad at it, you can eventually take that off, or you can make it slower so you have a chance to actually fight. I think it's also kind of cool that I believe every character is queer.
I think so. Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is that I just liked the writing and I liked the character like creation and stuff. Not like character creator, but
But like the development
the
of it.
characters they created. Yeah,
Yeah.
that it all felt very organic and well written and endearing. All of them were very endearing.
Yeah, nothing felt like that game's so woke. No, like it didn't feel heavy-handed like that or anything.
No, and I think a cool thing about a game like that and is that if all the characters are queer, then it allows them to do so much with each character is a different person completely. It's not just they're the token queer character and they
Yeah.
have all this weight on their shoulders to be the queer character and represent all sides. It's like no, you have every character to
Yeah.
represent whatever sides of a person you want, which is
Yeah.
great.
It was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our next category is favorite protagonist. We're halfway through, folks. Samuel, who's your favorite protagonist today? I know for you and for me both, this could change day to day.
I know there's so many, but one of my favorite JRPGs is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So I went with Neo from Xenoblade Chronicle or Noah. Sorry, it's Mio in Noah. So I went with Noah, and he's awesome, and I think I had him as one of my top protagonists in our top 5 protagonists, and so that would make sense. But there's kind of a multi-universe aspect going on in multiple iterations of one person, so you get to see different ways that he would react in different circumstances, or if he did it again, and different paths he might take. And so I think that's really cool how they can do that with kind of like with one protagonist.
Oh. So I forgot that we did a protagonist episode, so I'm wondering if I even put her on here, but my favorite today is Aya,
fair.
right? I think I put Aya. I think she was in the top 5.
I think she was definitely on your list. I don't know if she was your number one, but that's fair. We feel different on different days.
Yeah. So Aya Bray, but I also just love Parasite Eve. It's an incredible game. Talk about a game that needs a remake for sure.
Yes.
That one.
Not just a pseudo kind of second story Parasite Mutant thing, an actual remake.
Actually give us a remake. But yeah, so Aya's my favorite protagonist today, but that could easily be filled by some other folks of games we've already mentioned today. But
Yeah.
that's for another episode. Samuel, a category is favorite antagonist.
Favorite antagonist. I went with Live Alive here, so do have a repeat. Sorry. Try not to.
That's okay.
But spoilers. Give you a second. Little bit of spoilers.
Oh.
For the antagonist, I thought it was just so cool how they wove in the same kind of antagonist through all the different timelines and all the different stories, and then they were able to fight them together at the end. I just thought that was cool how that was done. So that was why I put that down for favorite antagonist.
Brilliant game, brilliant bad guy for sure.
What did you put?
My favorite is Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. I mean, he is a bad guy. You know, there are some bad guys that are cool. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
you're like, oh, they're kind of cool. Kefka's bad. And here's the thing, and this isn't a spoiler. In the middle of the game, Kefka wins. He wins. And then you spend the second half of the game just going through a world of ruin, trying to do the best to like right what has been like what is wrong. But
Wow.
and it's not a spoiler. You do see it coming, and it's like, it's only halfway through there. But yeah, the bad guy wins, and then you have to deal with the aftermath.
That's cool.
It's really, I mean, that's a game I've played a number of times. You let me know when you're ready, and we'll review that on the pod for sure.
Hey, when time permits itself, we'll do it.
Right? We'll get that cabin, just hang out for a week, play games.
That'll be a great week one day.
One of these days. Category is Best Supporting Cast.
Okay, so for this one, I went with Metaphor Refantasio.
Nice.
And the reason was that each of the supporting cast is also a different. What are they? Do they call them races in it technically, or casts?
Something like
or
that.
Subspecies or something, maybe races. But
Yeah.
so you get a window into each of the different races and what makes them different and what through each character. But also they kind of subvert norms a lot of times. Like there's a noble, so you think you're like, okay, I got you pegged. You're going to be the noble, but he's kind of fighting against his nobility and against that whole mindset. And so I just think each one is well done, and it's that persona style that you get to do the side meetings with them, so you do get to really know them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a little side quest every once in a while. It's like at each step you're going to be spending time with them to advance your relationship status with them, and you really get to know them. So
Fun. Mine is Final Fantasy VIII. So I'm also including, the playable characters that are not Squall or Renoa, the two love interests. So I'm including in best supporting cast like Zell and Quistis. I think that those two in particular are really interesting characters to me that I feel like grow a little bit over the course of the game. I also think Laguna and Adia, even though you only get to see her for a little bit as not the sorceress, I think they're just really interesting supporting characters. And if the game were really fresh in my mind, I think there are other like Elone, I think is an interesting supporting character. Not a playable character, but a supporting one. Sid, the headmaster. They're just, I think, really memorable characters that build the lore of Final Fantasy VIII. Yeah.
This grid is just reminding me how poor my knowledge of Final Fantasy games is, because I've played so few, and I need to play more of them.
It's not. Well, you just came to gaming later. There's nothing wrong with that.
I came to gaming later, and I'm more of a Nintendo fanboy, not PlayStation. So
it's true.
I think that's the combo.
You got two things against you.
That's right. Except most of them are playable on Nintendo systems nowadays. But anyway, okay. So next category: best side antagonists. So kind of a weird one, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, but I went with a game with a lot of side antagonists, and I do have another repeat here, but I went with Octopath Traveler 2.
Nice.
So there's kind of, going to be an overall antagonist for everybody, but each character of the 8 main characters has kind of their antagonist that they're searching for or trying to fight, and I think each story was really well done. So I thought those 8 additional side antagonists were great.
Oh, nice. So I went with one of my all-time favorite games, Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, and I like, when I think of side antagonists for this game, I'm just thinking of Leo at first, who eventually becomes your fifth party member. No spoiler, but like, sorry, he does. But there's also Leo's sister, who is evil for a long time, and then Borgin, who is evil for a long time. What I like about and Master Lun, I believe. So all the four dragons have these basically guardians, and in Lunar 2, all of the guardians are bad guys, which, oh my gosh, the dragons of Lunar, how could they be bad guys, right? So you get to go through and see all these antagonists become basically good guys by the end of their story arcs.
Oh.
And that makes them really interesting to me. They're not just like, I don't know, like carbon copies of a generic bad guy. They have depth to them, and it's interesting.
Huh, I like that.
Yeah. Still
like
a game.
Nowadays, feel like we more commonly see the alternative. We see somebody become the villain in media more commonly than the opposite way around.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
It's nice to see, that a good heart, or like, a good person can change a bad heart into a good heart there.
Can change a bad dragon into a good dragon.
Oh, bad dragon. So this next category is, I don't know, it was weird. I don't exactly know how.
Well, you're gonna tell us how you defined it and what you picked.
I guess.
That's why
right.
We're here.
So this next category is not usually my thing, but ... And I picked Septerra Core, Legacy of the Creator, and it's not usually my thing because it's an RPG that is all point and click based, basically.
That's very different.
And that's very different for me because I'm not a PC boy. I'm an Apple. I'm one of those little Apple people. But I have a Steam Deck, which is what I was gonna say. I was gonna say a bad word, and I was like, I won't do that. But I have a Steam Deck, so that lets me play some PC games. And I will say, even though I have the Steam Deck and it lets me use like the D-pad to like move a little bit, it is actually easier to click.
That's cool. Yeah, you were saying it's pretty seamless how it's done, which is nice.
It truly is. So yeah, that's it. Septerra Core for my not usually my thing, but yours is, Sam.
And mine is, I went with Mother 3.
Interesting.
Which we talked a lot about. The reason I would put it in this category is because it's very retro. Mm-hmm. The art style is very retro.
Yeah.
I think it's because I came at it with all these preconceived notions of, oh, it's gonna not have any quality of life. I'm gonna get really frustrated. I'm going to whatever. And then I was very pleasantly surprised at each turn with the story I got and the depth of the combat in a lot of ways. It was just so different than even games today. Mm-hmm. And so it was refreshing. And that's why I did not think it would be my thing, but it was.
I feel like you've really evolved in the past 3 years on your tolerance for games from a different era.
I am so much more tolerant. You are right.
I was like, how do I say this really kindly?
That was a very kind way to say it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I reserve all rights to still bash old games with no quality of life going forward.
And I know you will, asshole. So
okay, well, let's come together. We're coming together for this next category.
We are.
Best soundtrack. Let's say it together. 3, 2, 1.
Persona 5 Royale. Nice. That game, I mean, the music is just incredible.
It's too good. Nothing else could go here. I mean, it's still a commonly played thing on my Spotify just all the time.
I'm pretty sure when we were in Japan, we heard this over the speakers at some point. And like,
oh, yeah.
One of those, probably the Atlas store, honestly, which makes sense.
There was certain areas that I think it might have been Akihabara or one of those that they just had anime music blasting on the street. And I'm almost positive they were playing this at one point too.
Yeah, it's just a great soundtrack. Maybe that's why I love the game so much, is because of the soundtrack. And I think that's a legit reason to love a game.
That is it's got to be, yeah, it bumps it up for sure, especially if it's this good. Come on.
Right? So, next category.
We should progress to the next one.
Oh, shut up. Next category is, and I'll go first here, is best progression. So, I picked Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I pick it for two reasons for progression. One, the character progression I think is pretty cool, that your protagonist is a professor, and you get to learn your students real good and help them progress in their classes and their proficiency with weapons. But I also liked the progression of the story with that big time jump. I think the characters themselves as characters within a narrative story progressed incredibly in that 5 year time jump, and we get to see the aftermath of that. So that's why I picked Fire Emblem Three Houses for best progression. What about you?
Beautiful. I love it. I went with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for best progression because story wise, I really like how you end up kind of going to different colonies and kind of unlocking them. And so there's this loop of going there and doing missions and side quests and stuff, and then getting to unlock each colony. And then I also liked how you unlocked characters. You met more characters, and each character came with a new job system and job class. And so then you got to unlock new abilities. And so both the character progression and the story progression is why I put this for best progression.
Nice.
And next category is best level slash world design. For this one, I went with, recently played again too, Xenoblade Chronicles, not 3, X. So this is the sci-fi one on this giant. The reason I just love the world and level design is it's one giant planet of Mira. It's plenty of different biomes, all this elevation and depth to it. You go down to the bottom of caves, you go to the top of these giant mountains. You have eventually get mechs, so you can fly to the top of them. You can fly to floating islands. You can, just it's so cool. The exploration was by far the best part of this, and that is because the world is so amazingly designed, and the flora and the fauna on this world are so beautiful, and in each, again, biome. So that's why I went with Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Nifty. Well, I think if you didn't pick that one for best level world design, you probably would have picked what I'm going to say, Metaphor Rifantatio.
Yeah.
I just thought the map, I think it was split into 5 sections, like 5 broad, big sections, and I think like over 30 different locations. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Was...
And not each city had its own personality, or each area even had its own personality with its own not even language, though, like some of them, definitely had different dialects, very similar to like Dragon Quest, I think 11, where different worlds talked in their own different language or had their own, like, you can tell that I'm actually Italian because I'm going to say grazie every once in a while. But yeah, I just love the colorful storybook world of Metaphor Fantasio. It's just beautiful.
I agree with you. That one's a cool one. Next, we have best atmosphere / vibes.
Ooh.
So these categories are it's fun, and it makes you think. It's not so easy every time. But for this one, I went with Expedition 33, Clair Obscure Expedition 33.
Yeah.
So for atmosphere / vibes, I did that because it's dark and foreboding a lot in the story, and there's so much kind of depressing aspects to it. But then there's this subtle and growing optimism also that's part of it. It's like you're going to succeed. But then it's such a cool world and all these mysteries that you're unlocking as you go. And so, yeah, and then the soundtrack's great to add to the vibes, the look and the flow and just the type of characters. And quite honestly, the heavy French vibes in a JRPG are some cool vibes.
They are.
The first time I saw a mime, I was cracking up, but also scared.
As well you should be. Mimes are kind of scary.
Anyway, what about you? Best atmosphere / vibes?
Speaking of scary, Demon School, I think, has the best atmosphere and vibes. Gotcha. Gotcha. It has the spooky, ooky, scary vibes, very late 90s, early 2000s Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A lot of, what's my favorite word when I'm talking about this, Sam? This particular game? Giallo, which means yellow. Yeah.
I was going to say je ne sais quoi. I forgot it.
Nope, not that word, but
Giallo,
yeah. Which, basically think the movie Suspiria. And that's what this game is. Yeah, Suspiria meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Awesome music. This would not have won awesome soundtrack because Persona 5 is just too good, but if Persona 5 didn't exist, Demon School might win with Beth Music. I'm so excited I'm lisping.
I thought you sounded beautiful and
Thank you.
wonderful. And, shout out, honorable mention to your pronunciation. Um, and that makes us bring up the last category, which is just honorable mention. Just
Yeah.
something that, I took this to mean a game that you love that's a JRPG that did not fit or win any of the other categories. Is that
Yeah.
how you kind of read it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went with Chained Echoes. So I loved Chained Echoes. It is great pixel art. It's not really 2D HD. It's different, but I thought it was beautiful. I liked the combat system was different. You had to keep yourself in a certain range and a gauge, and it made you use all of your abilities because that would move the gauge one level or another if you used one type of attack or another. So it really added this extra level of depth to combat that was different and unique. And yeah, the story was great. You eventually get mechs there too. Always love the
Oh,
mechs.
yeah, that's right.
And so I just thought top to bottom it was really well done, but unfortunately probably not top tier in any one of these categories.
My Wait, what category is this? My
Honorable mention.
My honorable mention is a game that I might have some recency bias with this one because I did play it last summer. And it's a newish game. It's Echo Generation Midnight Edition, and it is a turn-based kind of supernatural adventure game on, I think it might just be on Switch. And it's when you're a bunch of kids in the late 90s thrown into this story where you have to like battle monsters and do some time traveling. And it's not childish. It's not as childish as that Halloween game, that Costume Quest that we played,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a fine game by itself. So it's
cute.
a little bit more mature than Costume Quest, but not by a whole lot. But it also was a bite-sized game that took me like 12 hours to finish, and sometimes I like a really short game.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, very good.
So that was
That is
those were our grids, And if you've asked us to do the grids again in like a year, they might change.
They might change, but I think it's a fun exercise, and I think it really makes you think in depth, not about just like your favorite game, but about the aspects of each game that makes it good, and
Yeah.
and different ones can be the top of different lists.
Exactly.
So everybody should go out there and make one of these grids. We'll put it up on our subreddit, and we can chat about each other's favo games in different categories.
Yeah, let's start a fight on Reddit. Let's do it. So Sam, what are you playing right now?
I am locked in on Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection.
Nice.
And I am just wasting so many hours collecting eggs and leveling up my monsties, which is what they're called, and adjusting their genes, splicing them genes how I want them.
Give me them
And
jeans.
It's fun. How about you? What are you playing?
I'm still playing Septerra Core. I am loving it. It's so much
Are you
fun.
going to finish it?
I'm gonna finish it, man.
Oh my gosh.
I know, big news. And I did just also get in the East Memories of, I think, Celceta. I just got like the first day edition in, but I'm still just gonna leave it in the plastic right now. Like I'm not gonna open it and try it out until I beat Septerra Core.
There you go. That's smart.
Thank you.
How much more do you have left of Septerra Core?
Oh gosh, maybe like 12, 15 hours more.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a chunk of a game left,
A chunk.
But I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I'm gonna finish it out.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, that feels good. So where though can the folks out there reach out to us again? I know you already kind of told them at the beginning of the pod, but let them know again, DJ. Where can they find us?
You can find us at Turn Based Besties. You can find us on Instagram. You can listen to us at Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Reddit, TikTok, so many places. If you like this episode and if you want to hear more, subscribe to our podcast. First of all, what are you doing? Come on, go to our socials, and I don't know, maybe you filled out your own grid, upload it to our subreddit that we're gonna post later today when this episode comes out. We plan to make a subreddit where everyone can upload their own JRPG grid, and we can have a fun discussion, or you can get in a fight with us, which would be really
right.
fun. If you really want to get in a fight with us, please don't. But if you really want to, if you really need to, you can email Sam at turnbasedbesties@gmail.com. And if it's really violent, I won't answer it. I'll make Sam do it instead.
That's right. Just email us a fist and punch us through the Gmail.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch you through your Gmail. Sam, when do we put out new episodes?
We have new episodes every other Friday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Central. Pretty much every other one.
Pretty much.
I'm going to stand by that. It's pretty much every other one. So check it out. Be ready. Follow us so you get them released directly to you, to your ears.
Heck yeah, released to your ears. Sam, I say it all the time. I love going on new adventures with you with each new episode here at Turn-Based Besties.
Aw, thanks. Win everything in the world. Points right. Maybe go left. See what you find. Because I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and this has been another episode of Turn-Based Besties. Goodbye.
Bye.